Hey everyone, happy Monday. Welcome to another episode of the Creatress Chat. How's it going? How's your day going so far? For my East Coast, Midwest people, you guys are like halfway through your day, so how's your day going so far? For my West Coast people, it's early here, it's 10. How's your day starting off? How's your Monday going? Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. That's what I want to start off with today. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day to all of the Indigenous creatresses out there. We see you, we honor you, we respect you, we celebrate you today. I just wanted to shout you guys out because you guys are so crucial to this country, crucial to the creativity of this country, the lifeline of this country. So I want to honor you and shout you guys out today. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. We're back talking about podcasting some more. Last week, I kind of just gave like an overview of like why podcasting is important and what podcasting kind of gives you. And today I want to talk about different types of podcasts. So last week I mentioned that podcasting kind of gives you the freedom over your message. It kind of gives you the freedom to say what you want, how you want to say it. And with that, you have tons of different types of podcasts. You have interview-based podcasts. You have roundtable-based podcasts. You have solo podcasts. You have like audio fiction podcasts. You have video-based. You have interactive podcasts. You have kind of like reality show type podcasts. There are so many things you can do with the podcast. I'm going to go through and talk to you guys a little bit about each of those that I just mentioned and kind of like some show examples, some of my favorites that I found over the years. And then I'm going to talk about the course, of course, my new online course. So interviews-based podcast. So that's just like it sounds. It's an interview-based show. You have a guest or two guests, and you're asking them questions, and the show is really centered around them. You're trying to kind of share their story with your audience. You're trying to get expert knowledge from them. Maybe you like have a marketing podcast and you're interviewing marketing experts, so you're trying to get their knowledge base to share with your audience. So that's basically an interview-based podcast. One of my favorite interview-based podcasts is called How I Built This. It's an NPR podcast, and the host, and his name is escaping me, and this is so horrible, but his name is escaping me, but the host interviews all of these different CEOs who built businesses from the ground up. So like there's an episode with the founder of like Calendly, which is like an online scheduling software. There's an episode with the founder of Spanx. So there are all these like big companies, and he kind of interviews them, excuse me, to get their story, kind of like how they started in their careers, what happened in their life, and what led them to start their business, and how did their business grow. So that's one of my favorite interview-based podcasts, and I like it because of how the interviews flow. But there are tons out there, and you guys can like research them and find them. Okay, so roundtable-based podcasts are really just a discussion with 3, 4, maybe 5 people. You maybe get your group of friends together. You maybe get some industry experts together, and you guys just have a conversation about various topics. There may or may not be interview-based style questions to kind of guide the conversation, but it's really just a free-for-all. It's really just people sharing their insights and thoughts on different subjects. Solo podcast is kind of like I'm doing right now. It's just one person talking to the microphone or talking to the camera, because there are video-based podcasts about a specific topic or about their thoughts and opinions on something. So if I wanted to take the Creatress Chat and turn it into a podcast, I could, and it'll be a solo podcast because I'm not interviewing anyone. I'm not having different opinions on. It's just me sharing my knowledge and my expertise with you. There are audio fiction podcasts. Now, I found my first audio fiction podcast a few years ago because I was just streaming through something to listen to at work, and I found this podcast called Life After, and there's like a second part to it called The Message too. And it is a 10-episode podcast, and it's acted out like you would be watching something on TV. There's no like narration or anything. It's kind of just like acted out, and you kind of follow the story as it goes along. but there are tons of podcasts out there that are like telling these stories through these fictional type things, through kind of like this scripted series type of way. And and before I like stumbled on Life After, I never had heard an audio fiction based like type podcast before. And it kind of gives you the feel of like those olden 30s like kind of horror stories that they used to tell on those big like oval shaped radios and stuff like that. So it kind of gives you that feel, but it's so creative because it kind of lets the listener imagine what you're trying to create, and it just kind of gives you freedom to kind of tell a story in a different way. So I love audio fiction based podcasts. There are video based and interactive podcasts. A lot of podcasters do their podcast recording live. And I wanted to give you guys an example. Let me backtrack a little bit. An example of a roundtable podcast. I love Harry Potter and the Sacred Text. It has a couple of hosts, and they bring in guests sometimes, and they just have conversations about the Harry Potter book and what it would be like if we treated it like a sacred text. Is really, really interesting. And an example of a solo-based podcast is Side Hustle School. Side Hustle School are these quick little 7-minute episodes, like 5 to 7 minute episodes, where the host is kind of explaining how people take their side hustles and grow them. So that's examples of that. Let me do that. Back to video-based and interactive podcasts. There are video-based podcasts and podcasts who go live for their recordings. The Woman Evolve podcast with Sarah Jakes Roberts. She does her podcast every Tuesday, and she live streams it on Facebook and on YouTube. And so on the podcast, she's reading comments in real time. She's answering questions in real time. She's getting feedback from her audience in real time. And then once that episode is over on live, she sends it to her podcast platforms, and that's the podcast episode. So there's that way to do podcasts. And then the last one I mentioned is kind of like a reality-based type show. There's this podcast called Millennial. And when you like search it, because there are a lot of podcasts called Millennial, but when you search it, it's kind of like a rainbow type logo. And it's walks with this woman's life and of how she's like kind of doing like job transitions and just walking through life as a millennial. So instead of her sitting in front of a microphone saying, this is what I think about my transition as a millennial through career and everything, she's actually like recording conversations that she has with family and friends. She's recording job interviews that she has. She's recording like real time like reactions to things that happen in her life. So it's kind of like a reality show, like you're watching her have this interaction kind of like live. So those are like just a few. Like I'm pretty sure there are tons of different other types of podcasts out there, but those are just a few ideas of things that you can create with podcasts. And so I hope that information kind of inspires you and kind of like encourages you and shows you that you don't have to necessarily fit in a specific bubble when you're trying to start your podcast. You don't necessarily have to have guests every week. You don't necessarily have to have a long monologue figured out to start a podcast. You can do anything you want. Is your microphone, is your recording, is your show. You can really do anything that you want. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, the different types of podcasts. And with that being said, if you want to start a podcast, if that kind of inspired you to say, hey, there are some great ideas here that I really want to kind of explore, I'm doing a course, and I'm going to teach you how to take that idea and turn it into a show. Let me see if I can. There we go. So the Plan and Launch Your Podcast in 30 Days course, enrollment is open right now. I'm going to show you step by step how to plan and launch your podcast before 2020 is over. I'm not going to show you everything on the website. I'm not going to like read everything on the website. I'll drop the link in the comments so you can check it out yourself. But I want to show you how easy it is for you to go on the website and enroll. Right at the top, there is an Enroll Now button. It lets you know when enrollment closes. Enrollment closes on Friday. On Friday, enrollment closes. So get in now. Then it explains to you a little bit more about the course and what you're going to get. in another enroll now, but I want to make it sure that it's easy for you guys to get in. Here's what you'll get in the course. You'll get content templates. You'll get chances to have coaching calls with me, and then you'll also get cohort support within the course. All of this is included. There's no bonus. There's no upsell. Everything is included in the course. Pricing for the course, you can pay in full for $397, or you can make 2 payments of $225. It's super easy to get into the course. Here's some more information. If you have some questions, I have some FAQs for you. And then I want you guys to end 2020 on a high note, and I want you to get your podcast launched. So make sure you enroll before Friday. And then there's some information about me. If you want to learn more about me and my journey with podcasting, there's a little blurb there. If you have some questions, then by all means, shoot me a message, shoot me an email, and ask about the course. But I want to get you guys in as soon as possible because I want to take you step by step through everything you need to know. I'm going to show you how to secure your guests if you want to do that. I'm going to show you how to record and edit your podcast. I'm not just going to tell you like, okay, now it's time to record. Now it's time to edit. I'm actually going to show you like screen share step by step. This is how you click the record button. This is how you record. This is how you take that recording and that audio file and you put it in your editing software. This is how you stretch out your audio file and you look for things that you want to edit out. This is how you cut it up. I'm going to show you step by step all of them. I'm going to show you how to market and how to promote your podcast. I'm going to show you how to upload your podcast to the various podcasting sites like Apple, like Spotify, like Google. I'm going to show you all of that step by step in this course. Again, enrollment closes on Friday, so please get in as soon as you can. The course is $397, or if you want to do a payment plan, it's 2 payments of $225. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and I will again drop the link down in the comments. That's it for today. I'll probably hop in live again sometime this week to chat more about the course, answer any questions. But again, if you have any questions, you know where to find me. And I hope to see you in the course. Have a great week. Remember to vote. I said I was up until election day, I'm going to end each one of these Creatress chats with my call to vote. Vote, vote, vote. My ballot came last week, so I am reviewing everything in terms of like the different propositions and stuff on the ballot, and I plan to vote this week, and I plan to take my ballot in to the polling place and drop it off. I'm not mailing it in. I'm going to drop it off, but I plan on voting this week. So make sure if you have your ballot already, you vote. If you don't have your ballot already, there are ways to track your ballot based on your state. So make sure you Google and find out how to track your ballot. And make sure you vote and you have a plan to vote. And let's just use our voice. So vote, vote, vote. And I want you guys to have a good week. I will see you guys next Monday, or I'll see you sometime this week. Who knows? Have a good one, guys.